show, To Experience Radio Show. Now, I have the extraordinary pleasure of having the great Shayla Smith on the show. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How's everybody? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. God's blessed me to see you done a week, and I'm just trying to get through. You know what I mean? Push my way through despite what's going on, but God's still good at the end of the day. So I saw your profile on Instagram a while back, and I saw you were speaking, I think, to youth, and I always try to connect people who are connected to our youth, and especially what's going on right now. Our youth need more positive role models than ever. So before we get to what you actually do, I kind of don't know what you actually do. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us who is Shayla Smith?
Okay, my name is Shayla Smith. I'm simply just a vessel, just excited to be used by the Lord. I'm 27, getting ready to be 28 years old, and I'm just trying to live a life that really leaves to impact for that, so that when I leave and transition, that there will be something left for people to kind of see that this life is actually worth living.
Okay, so what was you like growing up? Your childhood like growing up?
Okay, so my childhood was actually, from a family loving standpoint, was absolutely amazing. I think what happened as it relates to what affected me in my adult life was not having my biological father in my life. So I had a father who was willing to take care of me, but I dealt with knowing that I had a father who I actually belonged to, that was not in my life for whatever reasons it was. But my childhood was great. I just dealt with a lot of insecure places growing up as a child. And I know for myself, I suffered silently for a very long time, trying to figure out who I was, or what I'm supposed to be doing, or what I like, or what's not good for me, and all of those different kind of things. So because I longed to be liked, loved, appreciated, I wanted to be accepted by people. I did a lot of things, sometimes that I wanted to do at the time, and then a lot of the times I just did just because I felt like it was what I needed to keep people close to me.
Right. So basically, what was she said the life insecurities? What was that like? What issue you had?
So some of my insecurities was really because I didn't really believe in myself, because I didn't feel, there was a lot of times where I didn't really feel pretty, or I didn't really feel beautiful, where I felt like I had to have something that someone else had in order to be able to be somebody else. So a lot of the time I was looking at other people and I was I was envious and I was jealous because I wasn't really connecting with who it was that I really was. And I really started to really see the effects of it once I was in high school, transitioning into adulthood.
Right.
I was literally, I knew I wasn't being myself. I was just being a lot of different things. And because I was unhappy with myself at the time, that's just what typically happened. I was just unhappy and insecure, and I desired to be like somebody else other than who God had created me to be.
Right. So I was kind of like you growing up. So I lost my dad when I was 3 years old. He was killed on his birthday. So I didn't find out the actual truth with that till in my 30s. But I was believed that he was killed in a car as a drunk driver. So when he died, I was 3. I didn't also know he was cremated too. So I didn't know that either. So growing up, I had a mom. My mom's been dead with for over 30 years. So they never got married, anything like that. So, but I felt I was missing something. I was missing something that I needed. And growing only child was pretty much hard. We tried to fit in, try to make friends, and then I had abandonment issues because like every time I got close to a friend, they moved. So I remember one time where I had another neighbor who was really close. We would spend time together, play Tories, like growing up in the 90s, like really cool. We did weed nuts though, you know what I mean? But so he out of the blue saying he was moving, and I think his mom told my mom, I didn't even know, and that really shocked me. And this came out of nowhere. It was like playing. Okay, so one day last time we met, we both cried. That was the first time I really cried for someone. Ever, cause you know what I mean? Cause I remember my pop was dad, but I don't remember dad. I was like 8, 9, 10 at the time, so I really remember some of that. So I really had bad trust issues because I thought every time I got close to someone, they would leave or abandon me. So, and then middle school was fun because I went to like all mostly black school growing up. The mom was like, "You going to Dobson?" I'm like, "What is that?" Never heard of this school ever. I've never heard of school ever. Like,
right.
So I went to mostly Caucasian. And the other side of the city, I'm from North Philly, and I go to Manioc. So I get up 6 in the morning, which is the song I was used to. 8 brothers at 6 a.m., 6:30, get on a school bus by 7, 8 o'clock. I was the first stop and last stop for 3 years. So I go from that side, get on the first bus, then go through 5 different schools, pick up the kids up, get to the school by 8:30, 8:45, depends on the weather that day. Made through, I was trying to fit in, I was really trying to fit in, and ain't trying too hard. I was really, really smart, but my behavior was, I would get 2 to 3 behavior.
Absolutely.
And then my mom, I was being a report. My mom would get phone calls every day from my teacher. And I was trying, back in the day, I was trying to pour the phone out, the cord. The people that called me, I was really that sneaky. So, but my family was going through puberty. I was going through a lot of phases and then I had a lot of self-love. I didn't have self-love, so I had self-doubt. But I was very smart, but my mom would tell me you're very, very smart, but I didn't have that people around me that told me that I was smart. I was very capable. Until like my 8th grade year, I was really coming out of puberty. I really was shining. I really was being uncomfortable. And then I've been speech therapy for like 6 years. I went to school, in middle school, it was embarrassing going to middle school, going to speech therapy, especially middle school. Know that you're only one going there, and that you gotta deal with that. Anytime you talk, people laugh at you, and teachers actually bully you too. So I dealt with a lot of stuff. Knows like you was insecure, finding what I was, and trying to find what really was. I knew who I was, but I knew what I liked to do, but I didn't know what my talent was. But one thing that gave me out was kids. When we were kids, because I wanted them to see that, okay, he can make a difference. He went through this, okay, I'm going to do anything I want. You know what I mean? So that's where the turning point was for me. So you see, it was going through securities, high school, didn't know you really were. So what was the turning point for you that said, okay, now I got...
Okay, so turning point for me would have had to been September 26, 2010. So this was after... This was after a couple of suicidal attempts.
What?
So September 26, 2010, I actually gave my life to Christ. That was my turning point.
Wait. Let's rewind. Okay, what?
So I had, overall in my life, I've had 6 suicidal attempts, but there were probably 3 prior to me coming to the Lord, is what I'm expressing.
So what made you get to those points? What made you think about taking your life?
So for me, it was bad experiences. So it was due to the fact that I was inwardly suffering and not really identifying with what that was, who to talk to, or how I was treated, or how I felt, just how I felt about myself. Because I think that affects how we see other people, how we see ourselves. So because I was lacking this self-confidence, I was lacking this reality to see who I actually really was, even in my imperfections, I felt like some of the experiences with relationships and just feeling insecure, that I felt like life would be better if I was not here. I felt like, okay, so if at the time, if God is who He is, why am I experiencing such a great level of trial and tribulation? Why can't He just take it away if He's God? But really, what He was trying to get for me to see is His hand on my life in the midst of it. And I think that that's the powerful thing in knowing Christ and coming to Him, is having experienced some things that literally should have taken you out, or you wanted to take your life and you didn't. So for me, it was, oh my gosh, 2014, 2015, I was suicidal, did not want to eat, lost 22 pounds, didn't feel good about myself. No one really knew unless you were really super, extremely close to me as it relates to my friends, which was very small at the time. And because of that, my reality was like, okay, life would be better if I just ended. That's typically what happens, right? What you experience, what you see, is what people feel like that's all that they're going to get. So for me to come over into 2016 and say I made it was like there's a light bulb for me, and that's when I began to cultivate my relationship with the Lord, and it became more than what I heard or what I was coming to church for. It became something that I daily walked.
So my question was, before you really got understanding the Lord, was anything that you were doing passionate about, that you were working, like maybe you was working with youth at the time before you got to that point, that gave you that sense, okay, it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Was you anything that you're passionate about at that time?
So at that time, I was very passionate about just people in general. So
Gotcha.
I've been working in the medical field since 2010, and I've always had some type of connection with children and youth in general. So yes, being able to see me be able to put smiles on other people's faces was when, okay, Shayla, there is something for you to live for. So that helped me in some of the different things that I was going through. And I think what's really difficult when people go to express what they really begin to testify with what they've gone through, it's like, oh my God, did you really experience that? Because a lot of people suffer without saying anything.
Right,
especially not to kind of neglect, like, adult people don't go through that, but especially young people. They're trying to navigate through life, and the majority of their time is outside of the things of God. So they're navigating through life trying to figure out, how am I supposed to respond to this experience, and based upon whatever experience they go through, then that's how they respond. And I know that that's what it was for me. That's why I made a lot of the different choices.
I think a lot of youth deal with trauma experiences got younger than we had growing up. A lot of stuff. That was trauma. My dad died free, but it wasn't called trauma, it was called something else. You know what I mean? I didn't understand that was trauma until I got older. You know what I mean? So, and I think what you just said was powerful, because I thought about suicide. Like, I ain't thought about doing it, but actually the thought of it was a red flag for me. Because, like, it was 2014, about 5 years ago, and I had a bad breakup with my girlfriend. I had a bad breakup with her. It was like really crazy, and it was after Fair Times the weekend, and she took my phone, threatened to be fired. That was my breaking point, and I just said, sorry, panic greatness, risking nonprofit. I was really in a year of trying to think about myself better, and then that breaking point happened, and I was really thought about doing it, and thought about it for the first time. Then my co-worker was next door. I called him, like, I'm not going to say this, I need to talk to you. So I talked to him, he got me through that night. I don't know, I will not be here right now. Honestly, I thought, but the next day I got up, I was like, wow, he knew it was on, I repented, I told God, listen, I made a mistake, I need help. So, a lot of times, like, we go through stuff, like, not in the church, they know I was going through this. You know what I mean? So I remember we had trained at my job, and mind you, 2 days before that Sunday, because we woke up on a Monday. That Sunday, a teacher died out of the blue. He just passed away out of the blue. It was a shock to everybody. So they were saying they had free counseling people who were grieving and counseling, like that. So that day at that training, I think that training was really boring. But at that time, that's what I needed, because to my mind of what was going on. Even though took my mind off what was going on. I was like, something the best happened to me. And then I remember I said, look, I'm going to counseling. And the school job covered it. I hadn't paid for anything. I went there for 5 months. The best thing I ever did. And I actually told people, people I was working with at the time, look, I'm going to counseling. I wanted to let you know that I wasn't right mentally, emotionally. And it was really a good thing, because I told my mom, I broke down and cried, because sometimes we were too private to ask for help. You know what I mean? Sometimes everything ask for help, and they give the same friends, you might get the same response, but even that response is like, wow, it made me think. Right. So I went there 5 months, really changed my life, and then I went back this past year to counseling. Around September, I did 3 months with that. And because there were some things I was really dealt with, I've been dealt with that really never been resolved, because I was actually doing mental health 101. So I felt like if I'm teaching mental 101, I had to do it for myself. I had to figure out, okay, what things I'm dealing with that I never got resolved. Like, there was something with my dad. I never knew how my dad died until this year. I thought he was at a funeral, but he was actually cremated. I knew that. And then also I found out about my mom's boyfriend's daughter. He has a daughter I never saw my day in my life. So I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate that too. So, but going to counseling is not a bad thing. And a lot of times the church, not my church, the church tells us, oh, Jesus, no, you don't. Because a lot of times we go to the altar, they were there, but they give you some instructions on how to do that. You just steps. Okay, listen. Okay, I went to the altar to get healed. Okay, I'll show you now. Now, she did that. Do A, B, C, D. You know what I mean? A lot of times we get lost in that concept about mental health. And a lot of times we kind of shame of being helped when we call it crazy or psycho or whatever. It's not. They can be normal trying to get, all it is trying to get better.
Right.
That's all it is. It's not like, oh, well, you crazy, you're psycho. No, you're just trying to get better for yourself because you can be a better vessel for you and the people that you serve.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think it's important for people to flesh out what they're thinking. I know if I would have done that, I would have been able to, probably shield myself from some of the things that I experienced. One, people are embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or two, they're telling you some of the things that they feel that you're going to accept of them. Or you may have shared yourself with someone or some people and they kind of shared it with other people. But getting help is absolutely okay.
Exactly.
And I think that anything that's going to stick is going to have a foundation and it's going to have some type of substance. And when you're telling somebody that this is the way that I'm supposed to be going, this is how I should feel about myself, I do need those practical steps, those guidelines, something for me to kind of look back on so that I can be able to walk it out in my day-to-day life.
Because all the things we went through was a test from God.
Absolutely. Because
when I was going through middle school, I didn't know, I had a relationship with God till about 20, 22, because my grandma was always in church, you know what I mean, always in church, but she always wanted me to go, but about 11 let me go to church. Didn't know why, but my freshman year at college, I didn't go to church. By that Bible study, it was called Master Builders. It was really outside the box, different. I was like, okay, well, we know this. They placed me packed. Every Tuesday it was packed out. The science building, it was packed out. It was classrooms. And I'm like, why are we going to this place? I'm like, then think about, okay, wow, it's really different. It's not one in church. It was things like practices and things that you felt like, wow, okay, I
get with something.
No, and then I started going to my church, the summer 2002, and I was going for a lot. I went I felt like I needed to go somewhere,
Right.
Been my church over 15 years now, and it's been a lot of experience. I grew a lot, and a lot of times I think I got baptized that I graduated college. 2 days later, my first birthday. 2 days later. So my life has got worse before it got better. But I know how God works because God said when we were mom, we didn't know God. We grew on welfare for 14 years of my life, and we were humble about it. It was humble. It was now, but it was we was okay not having cable or not having a certain thing. We was okay with that because back then it was cool. It was you could live all day. You know what I mean? You can actually function more. You know what I mean? You didn't need cable TV. You didn't need internet back then. You know what I mean? You didn't need cell phones back then. You know what I mean? But I thank God for our wisdom because it made me the person I am today. Because I want our youth that contacted me to have best when I had growing up. I always wish I had the more self-love and encouragement that I had growing up and know who I was and know things my boundaries were. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So a lot of times people took care of me. I was too nice. I was very smart. People took advantage of that because I was sweetheart like that. But the girls would never date me. They always say, hey, I get $1 or help me do my homework. I'm like, yeah, sure, but when else I couldn't do that. So, but as I got older, you mature, you evolve and grow, and that's all we should do every single day. We should not be stuck in that bubble that it's okay to get help. You gotta let that go. Certain things you can't. Like I know sometimes you don't forgive or you don't work with those things. You are bleed on other people that want to be in your life. They want to pour into you in the right way and they want to cultivate you and motivate you to be better. That's why I'm telling the young people in fifth graders, look, Being up here make you better, not bitter.
Right.
Especially in 5th grade middle school. I told the parents of my speech, you gotta be hard on them. You gotta empower them that they're great. They want to counter bully. They want to counter being saying things that not their name. You got, and I told the parents, you got to tell them that they're great. You got to tell them that they're smart. Absolutely. You got to tell them that they're awesome. Even if they get on your last nerve, tell them that they're great.
They're still wonderful.
Exactly. If you tell them every single day when kids say that yeah, you dumb, they're like, okay, whatever, okay, and okay. Right. They're not going to be traumatized by that because they're not being traumatized at home. They're like, okay, it's nothing. You know what I mean? But so many young people are so traumatized, so hurt by people, you know. But it's younger, and like some of my kids can't even be kids right now.
That's what I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah, so a lot of kids are doing parentification, like doing parent responsibilities, while they can't even function and be a kid themselves. Go outside, go swimming, or have fun in the summertime. I remember growing up. Anybody be outside. Kids would go doing double dutch, be playground. But it's like it wasn't hot. It's not like 95 degrees, but like 80 degrees. Don't be outside. Like, what y'all doing? Like, but when I was going to 8, I was outside playing. Like until like the light came on. You know, like, the light came on. We went there. We had parents to leave themselves. Right. Yeah, it was like, oh, we got to call Philly curfew. Like, no. Parents can leave themselves. Like my mom come get me. Like, yeah. Like, oh, get in the house. Like, okay. Like, you know, but God's a wonderful God, you know. So we it's really good. So what you do now? I know you say you're working medical for what you do now. So
okay, so I'm a certified medical assistant at Lincoln on Mercury through Mainline Health.
Okay.
And I work in the cardiology department. I'm a part of Greater Exodus Baptist Church under the leadership of Dr. Reverend Herbert H. Less II.
Where's that at? I heard that before.
Herbert Less.
No, the church. Where's the church at?
Greater Exodus is on Broad and Fairmount.
Right. Well, okay.
Army.
No, that sounds familiar. Okay.
The bulk of where I serve is the young adult, the youth ministry.
Wonderful.
So the children's choir director. I sing with the adult praise and worship team in choir. I'm a part of the women's ministry, but a lot of the time that I spend is with the young people that are within our church. Like July is our youth month, so we're getting our entire July is geared to our youth around the topic of identity. So a good amount of us spend a lot of time with the youth, just being outlet to them and also someone to look up to and to be held accountable to. So the bulk of what I do is work with the youth along with the women's ministry.
I would love to go to your church.
We have a 7:45 service, a 9:30, and an 11:30 service.
Okay.
So
do you work with youth outside Sundays with them?
So I don't. I don't do anything with youth outside of
Sundays.
My church. Prior to my job now, I used to work at St. Christopher's Hospital for Children, and some summer jobs that I've had in the past, I used to work with youth, but outside of Greater Exodus, I don't do anything outside of that.
I think do you meet with the youth in your church?
Right.
Outside of Sundays, or no?
So we do spend time together outside of our. We do spend time together outside of the Sundays. But I thought you were speaking to.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I would love to come do a workshop or something like that on self-love and something like cause a lot of times they want especially because that identity piece is very important because we do who am I? We do self-love. Mm-hmm. We do self-care. You know what I mean? For our youth to make them happy. You know what I mean? So we got to connect on that in July because I think that's a big time. You know, we just know who you are and just figure out it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be smart. A lot of times our kids are really, really smart, but they hide to try to fit in.
Right.
They try to hide because they're afraid they put a mask on.
Right.
And we got you to it's okay. You don't need to put a mask on. That's who you are.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And a lot of times that's even adults do that too. We are very, very smart, but at the same time we just gotta make sure be around people that tell them, hey, It's okay not to wear a mask. It's okay to be smart. It's okay to be weirdo. I mean, it's okay to be weird. I mean, it's okay.
It's okay to be your absolute self.
Exactly. While at your best self. You know what I mean? And while you still evolving and growing and find out who you are, it's okay to evolve and grow. As long as that foundation is there, that's wonderful. That's
right. I think if you get, especially like your 5 to like 12 years old, if you get there, grab their attention, you'll be able, you know, and pour into them like it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to love what it is that you love that makes you happy as it relates to, like, I know for a while growing up I enjoyed coloring and I was kind of like quirky and weird, and I thought you just kind of had to be like fashionable, or I don't know whatever image of the life, like how the world wants you to be, but God wants for us to be ourselves, and I think that is where we can make the most impact. And then God
wants to be transformed, not conformed.
Right. And he didn't make robots. I mean, what if they all did the same thing at the same time? And we kind of push ourselves into these spaces that God never intended for us. And because of that, we don't really learn our value. Like that, it's the phrase is simple: learn your value. But it takes a lifetime to learn who you are.
Right.
And you're never going to feel comfortable being somebody else other than yourself. And God is really not going to make you comfortable being anybody else. So for me, that was profound. Like Shayla, you can't be like anybody, not even who you look up to. You have to kind of grab and heed to what you need in order to become who you're supposed to be, but you most definitely have to always be yourself, and that was hard for me. And still I find myself having to coach myself through, Shayla, that's not you. Or Shayla, you don't have to do this to be around this. Or you can wait in the time that God has for you, and He'll open up the doors and put you on the platforms or have you speak before the people that He needs you to speak before, and don't try to go ahead and try to be somebody that you're not, because God is just not.
And that's also that identity part is definitely a mental health issue too. Not issue, but a mental health topic and subtopic where you try to find yourself while in the same mental space and not trying to fit in. You was born to stand out and fit in. A lot of times people don't tell them that, and as I tell you that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be by yourself. Right. You don't need to be with your friends to do anything.
All the time.
It's okay. Sometimes you by yourself, you can think and breathe. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's very important, especially you say 5 to 12-year-olds. I mean, that's the identity piece that they need, and to have that before the summer ends, because we don't last summer. It was crazy. All these youth shootings and all this other stuff. We got to make sure that our youth know who they are.
Absolutely.
Again, so you know who you are, certain things you're not going to tolerate. Certain reasons they're going to say, absolutely no, I'm not doing this.
With who you really are.
And also that's how you it's okay to say no. Because a lot of times, if the prayer person, hey, it's
say yes.
Go to the prayer person, go to the store. Oh, let's just walk this homeless man. It's okay to say no, walk away. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's okay to walk away. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anywhere else. Be your best self. I tell you something, I'm my best self every single day. Know what you like and magnify that gift. Maybe it be art, maybe it be numbers, maybe it be basketball, maybe it be painting, writing, singing. Work on that gift, magnify that gift, and be around people that can help you with that gift, and not tell you, hey, you can't do it, but hey, you need some stuff. Say, hey, I'll help you this, that, and third. Right. So what are the plans, what are the plans for you?
So I'm currently writing a book. It's entitled It's entitled Wounds That Heal. Honestly, I've really been sitting on it. And the reason why I've been sitting on it is just not really gearing my attention to it. So this summer I've dedicated a certain significant amount of time to be able to work on my book, which will be entitled Wounds That Heal. And I simply want to provide this platform for people to connect their hurting places to the promises of God. I feel like when people experience different things, and if they experience it for such a long period of time, they feel like that's it for them. And because they feel like this is all that they will ever be or all that they will ever experience, they don't move forward. So the fact that God allowed for me to experience a numerous amount of things and allows for me to go through that experience, be groomed, still growing, evolve, learn to love myself, all of these different kind of things, I want to be that example for other people.
That's
to
right.
be able to look at me and say, hey, did you really experience that and come over that experience? Because we're not living for ourselves, right? We're living for God ultimately, but then we're living so people will be able to see Him in us. So
That's
when people
right.
take a glimpse at me, I don't really want them to see Shayla. I really want for them to see Christ and be like, I can make it. For me, like the term "you're going to make it" is important, because if you experience a trial or a tribulation or a trauma or a tragedy for such a long period of time, you feel that that's all that you're going to experience. And there's a phrase that, what you see is what you get. I believe what you get is however you form or cultivate.
Right.
And if you go through life experiencing something for such a long period of time, and God allows for Himself to be revealed through that, I think you owe yourself to live beyond what you've experienced. Right. So in the book will just be, my story, some steps that walk people through confronting, confessing, confirming who they are, and then challenging and be able to be themselves, although it will be difficult. That I'm going to experience some things that are hard. That's almost certain, right? Not even almost certain, that's certain. God said in this life you're going to face so many trials, but you can do it and you can make it because Christ is.
Right, all you gotta do is hold out and have faith.
Absolutely.
And so when the book will probably be out?
It should have been out. Probably the end of this year.
Okay, so I'm asking that because I'll do August Cafe, where I bring authors come in and talk about their book, and so their book talk about their book. So and so their books among other authors and community.
I would love to be a part.
So I might have you for the first one 2020 next year. So your book is going to be out. So plus that's a good workshop too. I said event time. What was the hell? I was like, okay, because I think that what we got. Will be a last talk. I'll definitely see you speaking with my kids. Also speaking with young ladies. And also I'm actually doing it was a power event in October. So I would definitely love you to come speak, because I think that would be good for you as a woman. It's like a mixer or something like that. So I'm just trying to find a white woman for that. You know what I mean? That God, because it's like anything I do, God God told me to be those people.
Gives you the vision.
Right, yeah, sometimes I know people, but sometimes I ask people, God say, we told this person, you know what I mean?
Right, it's not random.
Ask them to come, you know what I mean? That's how I kept going, because sometimes I'm like, he picked these people for me. It works out, it really works out. Sometimes I don't tell people, okay, y'all being together, but it's it works out for the kids, because I think this is what you're doing is really worthy, because that was healed. I love that title. Love that title. I get you on the show before I can talk about that book. So because that's something that's what everybody should read, even for our youth to read, because a lot of times our youth go through things they don't know how to experience it while they're going through it. So a lot of times they carry that stuff to adulthood and make bad.
Deal with it.
Right. So my goal is to try to get our youth who deal with trauma that those rooms to deal with while it's fresh in their mind.
Absolutely.
And hey, right there, what's going on? What's the emotions? And then what you need for the community, or someone like me or you that someone to talk to, need help, need a trigger or something. What your triggers, what? So they can deal with what in you, so they won't get older. They won't be a bad news for someone else. So they say, look, I'm going through it, okay, but I made it through it, So I made through it, and I'm keep going. A lot of times we get to that point, they want to give up, and they want to, and we want them to know that it's okay you're going through this stuff, and that we've been there, we've been doing this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why sometimes the best person is being listen to them. That's it. You don't gotta tell me everybody, listen to them. Listen. That's why look. You are basically, that's all you need. You don't need to say anything. Listen, they someone like a sound box. You know what I mean? This vet. You know what I mean? You judge them, criticize them. Listen. We'll give you this, that, and third. I give you some resources. They call them. Hey, this person. Go through something. I'm not equipped to deal with it. Maybe talk to them, see how what's going on, and something like that. But I think this is something that I need, because our youth are suffering more than ever than we had growing up. You know what I mean? It was different for a time, and now it's social media and everything is open now. It's open now, so it's like they
what they can get their hands on and
right.
we couldn't get our hands on.
Right, exactly.
Or the level of their influence.
Exactly.
Just where they spend the majority of their time.
Right. A lot of times they be outside now on their phones, and I'm like, oh my God, they can't be outside anymore. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
no face-to-face conversations.
Right.
All your phone, just all your texts, just all your social.
Or the earbuds. Like,
right.
But I'm just trying to change the dynamic on you, make sure that knowing that they're worthy, that they're great, and that they can do anything they want to. You know what I mean? Not like their mind. So look, I don't care what you want to do, as long as you have a vision for what will support you. That's what Real Positive Grace is about. Mm-hmm. About people like you're an environment on the show. Going strong to experience radio show because you had experience, you transformed from it. Now you're involved. You had more that you could conform to the world, but God transformed you for a simple service or simple
for His glory.
For His glory. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about getting people on the show that have been transformed by God. That to do now, they're doing things for Him now, not for ourselves. Absolutely. So again, thank you so much for part of our show.
I'm just so honored.
Yeah, I know we went way over time, but it's working.
Talking too much.
No, but it's good though. I'm gonna get advice from that. I hope we can you can come back. You know what I mean? So because I definitely want to help you with it, because I can see speaking to my kids. I mean, I really see that because our kids need to hear from you, especially our young girls. They need to hear from you because you have a testimony that blew my mind. I was like, wow. I'm like, okay, wow. Like she did all this. Like now she turned it around that you can make it for yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. I know it was really hard. I know God was doing.
I was like, I'm probably asking a lot of questions for somebody I didn't meet yet, but I just want to be sure about a lot of things before.
A lot of people ask me that, and like Chris was like, but
thank you so much.
Yeah, so I don't have a script, so I'm just go by how what you tell me, because a lot of times if it's scripted, it's not gonna get the value for people that that you're not gonna be yourself. I want to be raw. I want to be people that look. They went for stuff. I'm like, look, we went for stuff. I mean, I'm with stuff too. I'm my host. I mean, so we're not listen to anything. We're not. It's about doing it for God and God getting glory from it, and also serving people to the fullest. That want to be helped, that want to go to the next level, be transformed, and be involved. And that's what it's about. I mean, it's about that commitment to service and just commitment to our children. That's why I do kids right now, because a lot of times, sometimes we do go to church mode at the schools we work at, but sometimes the kids need to hear that. Because our kids say, amen, it's not church. I'm like, but who knows? God might church and ministry. I don't know, but it would be way different. Way different, but it would be way different. But it would be like something where the kids be more involved and really get value from it. So, Shayla Smith, thank you so much for being part of our show. I hope you, for those on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, that you enjoyed our conversation. Hit your share button because you got some gems here. We are testimonies that you can make it.
Yes,
God,
you can.
Yeah, God, like I said, Deuteronomy 31:8. God will not leave you nor forsake you. He will be with you to the end. And so I don't know what the end is. I don't know how long that will end. So God will leave you no forsake us. So enjoy the rest of the Saturday. Stay cool, be safe, and be blessed.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for watching too.
Thank
you tuned in. We got some value from it. So you will see her again down the road. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have a blessed week.